Welcome to our new Finnessiam Health podcast. I'm your host, Wendie Patrick, and we'll be talking about all sorts of things to help you and your animals have a happier, healthier life. But you probably want to know why I'm anything that you want to listen to. Well, some of you may have picked me up on some of our Facebook Lives in the past from Dogs of Pride, which was our grooming side. And some may have seen you on other podcasts that we've been a guest on. But I've got so much information in this little brain of mine that I've collected and that I constantly add to that I just have to come on and share it. So I hope you'll enjoy what we put together in our content over our weekly podcasts. We're going to have some guests, and certainly we would love to have your questions so that we can answer them on our podcasts. And possibly even in the future, we'll go and do stuff like have a live Zoom meet up where we can get up to 100 people on there and have like question and answer lives. So all sorts of exciting things to come. But if you don't know me, as I say, I'm Wendie Patrick. I live currently in Nova Scotia, originally from Northern Ireland. And I am currently operating and owning Finnessiam Health. We do make some products here behind us, but the main aim is for me to help animals. That's always been my life's purpose. I have always loved animals. Ever since I could speak, I guess the first words recorded in a baby album were Gigi, which is what we referred to a horse as back in the UK. And since then, always had to stop and pet any dog, any cat, any horse. Had to go on a horse ride or anything else if they were around. So it was always interesting getting me away from animals. But going through schooling, it was never offered as an option other than being a vet to work in the animal industry. So I never had my sciences to the degree that I have now, actually. And how that's progressed is another story. But basically, I followed the art and design direction because my sciences weren't high enough to get me into vet school. And looking back, I actually get a chuckle because in the middle of biology class that I dropped towards A level and said, how is a mitochondria going to help me in my future life? And here I am today. So careful what you wish for, folks, and never say never because the universe has a wonderful way of throwing things back in your face and go, okay, now you're dealing with it. How do you like me now? So, how we've ended up here has been quite a different journey. Well, to me, it's just not your bog standard get up, get married, have a couple of kids, go to work, and that's basically it. That was basically how we were told life was supposed to be when I was growing up. I never really conformed to that box scenario and then realized much later there is no box. So if you haven't figured that out yet, folks, I'm here to tell you there's no box. There's no box to fit into, no box to fit others into. You are whatever you want and whatever you believe you can be and whatever you dream you can be. And hopefully, over however long we run our podcast for, you get empowered to find that that's actually true. And you can test the theory a million times because I do daily. And I don't expect anyone to believe anything I'm saying. So I always encourage everyone to do their own research. Don't just follow the crowd. Just don't follow someone who resonates with you. Always still check out their information. Is it coming from a reliable source? Is it coming from the heart? Is it coming from good? Is it coming from something that will actually help? Um, there's lots and lots of different things out there. So basically, how I've got to here and what I'm doing now is, in essence, testing you. I test you, I test your animals. And how I do that is actually working within the quantum realm. Now, this may be throwing everybody in the deep end really, really quickly, but that's kind of how I work. So you can catch up and ask questions later, and we can explain that. And as the time goes on, you will understand it a lot more. Yeah, you may have heard of a lot of things being referred to as quantum at the minute. basically, what it means in the simplest terms is that everything is energy. Every single thing is energy, whether it's human, whether it's animal, whether whatever species it is on the planet, and including all of your flowers and trees and plants and everything else. Now, not to say this is going to be an airy fairy podcast where I send you all out to hug trees every 5 minutes, or dance around the garden naked. But, certainly if that's your thing, well, I won't stop you. Just don't send me the videos. Um, but how we got here was understanding that the skills that we had as a child that had been pushed down and suppressed are now making us what we are today. And I am constantly following that path and that journey, revisiting a lot of things, remembering a lot of things, which is helping me to grow and realize that I had a lot of this early on. What's this? Call it intuition, call it a gut feeling, call it an empathic soul. Lots and lots of labels, and I'm not one for labels, not a fan of them at all. I like to encourage people to follow their dreams, follow their heart, trust their gut, and question everything. I'm probably one of the biggest doubting Thomases you'll find. So, lots of ways along the journey so far, I stop and I question and I dig and I research and I look and I ask and I knock on this and I kick on that and I try that and yeah, everything. I don't expect you to be any different and I don't expect you to take my word for anything. Starting in Northern Ireland with a love for animals, basically couldn't get into vet school, didn't go that route, ended up in art and design, and then in 2006 decided I had enough of this. I was going to follow my original passion of working with animals and became a dog groomer. I did a one-on-one intensive course in Scotland and then came back and had the incredible opportunity to work with one of the top international groomers. And that's when I lived in Calgary at the time. And did a sort of apprenticeship or shadow working underneath them and really developed a lot of skills. I carried on with that for a while, and well, actually, I was doing that for about 10, 11 years until health stopped me. And it was whenever I hit that brick wall, it was like, well, what's going on? What do I do? Now, I had started the Dogs of Pride distributorship and retail and everything else on the side for better products for animals because I was always looking into, well, what's keeping them safe? What's making them okay? What's stopping their itchy skin? What's doing this? What's doing that? What's doing the other? And then when I hit that brick wall, when my health was actually preventing me from being able to do my job, dog grooming, things had to change. And I had a wake up call where it was, all right, you can't function like this. You're living day to day on a high dose of thyroid medication and eating painkillers like candy. And I'd had enough. And it took me after about a year and a half of following this one person who is a naturopath, biochemic practitioner, kinesiologist, um, naturopathic medicine, all sorts of different titles, lots and lots of titles, before I finally made an appointment. And that started out with a facial analysis. So, doing that, he identified a lot of nutrient deficiencies, a lot of issues, and was able to find a few things that he really thought needed some work and some help. So, I started along that route, and literally within months, within weeks, actually, I was feeling different. So after a few months, I was like, okay, I got to go further with this. And I want to help myself a little bit more. So I made a personal appointment and went to see him. And as soon as he saw me, he knew I needed to change one of the particular supplements that I was on. And this is basically functional nutrition. So this is what I do a lot now. To cut a long story short, my health increased and then I asked to become one of his practitioners. So he trained me up to do that. And then I went out, and it's been constant training, constant research, constant practice to get to where I am today, which is 6 years later. So I've been very quiet about this for a long time because until I feel confident, comfortable sharing information with you, I'm not going to steer anyone wrong. And I'm certainly not intending to do that to any of you. It's a difficult enough battle to get yourself on the right track sometimes. So, and you've been steered wrong probably up until now. And that's one of the reasons that you'll probably tune into the Finnessiam Health Podcast. We're going to help you embrace your superpowers. We're going to help you get that joy for life back, that happiness, that light spark, that glow. And yeah, I am making it sound wonderful because I do believe it is going to be wonderful. And the biggest thing is what I found as I was going through my health journey is whenever my practitioner that I'm under came out with a new Lyme disease formula and had looked at me when I went for the training for the testing for that and said, "You're going through way too many of your tissue salts. There's still something else stopping you from assimilating these properly and using them properly within your body. So, here, try this." And tested me against the Lyme formula. Boom, there it was. So finally, after years after I had been diagnosed as not having Lyme disease, due to the tests that I'd had, only tested for one particular strain of it, and then it was never thought of to do the more developed tests. So after that, it was basically all right. Got Lyme disease. Oh, what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to fight the beast. Now I know what it is. And now I know what I'm dealing with and what I'm up against. Let's do this. So I had also identified the co infection that goes with it. And basically, you are dealing with both. But that's my journey. That's almost as to where I've got to now. It's been years. It's been up and down. There's been flares happening. There's been other things happening. And there's been other things developing as well. And some very, very recent, where I've also discovered another line of herbals, which will actually help to clearing my system. It's not mad detoxing. It's not harmful. It's not chemical. And we don't deal with anything that's chemical or anything else. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor. I am a certified health practitioner, biochemic practitioner, health kinesiologist. I do a lot of energy work, and basically, I put a lot of that together, and I can also do remote testing. So that's what I'm doing now. I do offer remote testing through Finnessiam Health to private clients because the products that I use under Health Canada, I have to see you in person, and that actually also applies through here. So I have clients all over the world that I do the testing with. And the biggest thing I think to give you a little bit of credibility is because I work with animals first and foremost. They're my passion. They're the ones I want to help get back on track. And they're the ones I want to help to identify with. And whenever I usually work with an animal, it usually isn't too many appointments after we get started where the actual owner or pet guardian, whatever you want to refer yourselves as, will come back and say, "Okay, can you do me now?" And I'll go, "Sure. Okay. We can test you. We can see what's going on." And it's the nice thing because I don't sell placebos. I don't sell voodoo. I don't sell nonsense. And trust me, I'm done with buying and wasting money on nonsense. I've done enough of it over the years that I produce now. I work with, I test other products, I work with other suppliers, and I produce and present and offer the best that I can possibly find at this particular moment in time. I never stop learning, I never stop growing, and I'll never stop my journey. So I'm hoping you'll come along with me and join me with your journey too. And we can share and grow together. And we'll embrace your superpowers all together and take over. How's that sound? I can't wait to see you on the next one. And I'd love to ask you all to like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends about us. Something that might interest you. This is just a little intro one, but we will get into the nitty gritty into specific topics. And I'd like your help with that too. So please contact me through either a connection or a link on this podcast or directly at Finnessiam Health, Finnessiam, which was Finn, Jesse, and William, which were the three dogs of pride. If I turn that, you can see the three little dogs of pride over there. And at finnessiamhealth.com. That's the website. Ooh, fly off on a tangent much. You'll get used to me. I do this a lot. Um, you can contact us through there. You can see a little bit more about what we do through there. You can investigate some of the products through there as well. And Dogs of Pride is still another separate entity that also sells all the products through there too. So if you are looking for help on a personal basis, on a private client basis, I do accept clients. And if you are ready to take a leap of faith in some instance and test my theories, my protocols, and get on board with that, and you are committed to do so, then certainly get in touch and set up an appointment. I am very strict where I do not just do one off visits. So you either have to go along the journey or just keep buying your random supplements and things that you've been doing up until now. Um, that's it, I think. Come join us. I can't wait to see you on the next one. And yeah, submit your questions as well, certain topics you'd like covered as well. You can throw those informations in on any comments you can do below this link or directly to us, which will get to me a lot more directly. And that would be through the contact us on finnessiamhealth.com. So thanks a lot for listening, folks. I hope I haven't bored you too much and that you will be actually intrigued to come and join us. And then hopefully we are going to have some fabulous guests down the road too, which will share even more information and knowledge to help you embrace your superpowers. All the best. Take care, and we will see you later. Stay possum.